Hi all, welcome to the video. In this video, we are going to talk about Private Service Connect connection propagation, and it is in preview state as of now, like this recording. So basically, in this we will use Private Service Connect. So if you don't know, you can check out my previous videos. But I will give you a small intro on this. What is Private Service Connect? So basically, suppose you have two VPCs. One is producer VPC and another is consumer VPC. And in this, you have running a managed service like your any web application or anything like storage or anything. And for that, you will create a service attachment. So what will happen when you create a service attachment? This service attachment can be used by a consumer VPC. So your consumer VPC can be any VPC in your any project or in the same project on the different organization also, and it will create a endpoint with this service attachment. So basically these both will create a connection with each other, and then consumer VPC any like VMs or anything can reach out to your managed service which is in producer VPC. So they will send the traffic to endpoint will forward that traffic to service attachment, and service attachment will forward the traffic to managed services. So this is the kind of private service connect. You can check out my previous videos, but that video is in Hindi. And so now in with the help of connection propagation, what will happen? We will use NCC in this network connectivity center. This is our NCC. So when you create a NCC hub, there is an option to enable it. If you enable, then only this whole setup will work. If you don't, it will not work. So suppose here is my consumer, like this is my common VPC, suppose common services VPC, and it is using private service connection. And this is my producer VPC. So they have some managed services which are they want to share with other your VPC, or we can different projects also. So in this, it will create a service attachment. This is my consumer VPC. It will create an endpoint, and it will as of now it is like using this service. Suppose now you want that all the other VPCs also can use this reducer VPC services, but you don't want to create separate connections. So suppose it's this common service VPCs there is a connection already, but if you want this VPC also can use this service, we have to create one more connection. Then consumer VPC 3 also need to create a connection. So it is very complicated. You have to manage multiple connections. So instead, what you can do, you use network connectivity center hub. So what will happen? Once you attach this common services VPC as I spoke in the network connectivity center hub, all other VPCs, this consumer VPC2 and consumer VPC3 will able to reach this producer VPC1 managed services with the help of this consumer services VPCs. All the routes will come into this both the VPC, and they can reach out to these. And we can see there is one more service attachment, producer VPC2, which is also sharing a service, or we can say managed service with our this consumer VPC3, but with this subnet like 10.0.50.0/24, but it is not being shared with other VPC, like common VPC or this VPC, consumer VPC2, because we have excluded this specific subnet. So there is an option if you don't want to share any specific service with other VPCs. So when you are able connecting your VPC spoke to the network connected this hub, you can just exclude that subnet. So once you exclude that subnet, you cannot able to like it will not be shared with other VPCs. I will show you how we can done this. So this is a basically concept. Instead of creating multiple connection to the producer VPCs, just create a common service VPC in which all the connections are there, and with that add that VPC into the as a VPC spoke, and add other VPCs also as VPC spoke, and they will able to reach out to these all your like service attachment, or we can say producer VPC managed services. So let's see, there's some documentation also, we can check it out. So what will happen with the propagated connections services that are accessible in one consumer VPC spoke through private service connect, basically on this, like this consumer VPC spoke through private service connect can be privately accessed by another consumer VPC spoke data connected to the same network connectivity center hub. So basically consumer VPC2 and VPC3 both are connected as spokes to network connectivity center hub, so they can also reach out to these services. And we can use a common services VPC network to simplify the deployment of private service connect endpoints. So basically common services will ease out your deployment. So basically, you can create a separate VPC in which all the attachments are there, all the private service connection points are there, and after that, just attach into as I spoke. Even we can manage which services are accessible to individual VPC spokes through the network connectivity center hub. Yes, so as I've told you, if like here we have the option like if we don't want to share any specific service, just exclude that. So we have the option also. And propagated connections are managed by network connectivity center, and you can't directly manage propagated connection using private. So when you create NCC hub, in that we have to enable propagated connection, and it will be managed by networks and connectivity center only. We don't have the options to manage it itself, and nor we can like manage via private service connect. So there are some triggering connection propagation. You can check it out. Basically, what will happen if suppose these talk about only this, like if you add a new VPC and that has also some like connection endpoints with some other PSC like private service connect. So that so what will happen? NCC will add that propagated connections in all that consumer VPC, so that all consumer VPC can reach out to that private service connect managed services, and this talk about that only. And like suppose if the new spoke like has existing endpoints, so propagated connections are created for those endpoints, and you can just read it out. It is very simple and you will get to know what it is talking about. And let's do the demo, so it will very easy to understand what I'm talking about. So I'm in my console. Basically, I have a instance group. So first of all, if you don't know about PSC, I have to create a managed service. So this is my like instance group which is running two VMs. So let's go here, and it will just if I use it will just print out my VM name. So let's go and see what it will give. So like it will give like this like VM name is VM first project, and second will also give the same only. So before starting anything, let's create a load balancer so that we can like create a service managed service kind of thing. So I will create an internal load balancer for application one. I will go here. This is my internal load balancer, and after that this is will be regional only, and I will click on create load balancer configure. Let's give a name my LB, and region will be the same here, which in which my VM are running this Asia Northeast one. So I will choose that only. After that, I have to choose the network. So this is first project VPC one in which my VMs are running. I will choose that, and I have to reserve a proxy only subnet is required for creating internal load balancer. I will click on reserve subnet, and I have to provide like let's give a name proxy, and I have to provide a range. So let's give some range. Make sure this range is not being used anywhere else, and I will click on add. After that, for the backend configuration, I have to create a backend service. I will click on backend service, and I can give a name. After that, I will choose my instance group, and this is the port number. After that, I can choose a health check. You can create a health check with your configuration. This is my very simple health check. So it is running on TCP port 80. I will click on save, and no logging I need. I will click on create. Routing rules are simple only, and front end I will go with HTTP only, and subnetwork. This is my subnet range. There is only one subnet. After that, I will choose an IP address. You can choose informal like automatic or custom also, or you can create an IP address also. So let it be automatic only. After that, you have the option of global access disable or enable. If you enable, so this load balancer can be reach out from any region. If you make it disable, so it can be reach out from only this region like northeast one. So make sure what you want to do. I will make it enable global access so we can do our testing, and I will click on done. I will click on create. My load balancer has been created. So this is the first step because we are using private service connect. So let's go to private service connect now, and we will see how to use this. So basically in this we have multiple things: connect endpoints, publish service, network attachment, connection policy. In this our main focus will be connected endpoints and publish services. So I will click on publish services. So basically I want to publish my service so that other VPCs can use that. I will click on publish service, and after that I have to choose a load balancer type, what type of load balancer I'm using. So that's why I created a load balancer first, and I have used internal application load balancer, and I have to choose that this is my MyLB. After that I have to give a service name, so we can say MyLB service, and we have to create a subnet for this also. So click on reserve new subnet, and just give a name, so we can give PSC subnet, and after that we have to provide a range, so let's give it 192 168, like let's give 42.0/24, and I will click on add. So basically do a netting. I have a video on that, if you can check out for this, how it's basically private service network at the background. So because it do network address translation, that's why we need a private IP. So our subnet has been created. After that we have the option of connection preference, whether like what you want, like accept connection from selected projects, selected networks, or automatically accept all connection. You can check out which option suits you. I will go with automatically accept as of now because I'm focusing on network connectivity center in this video. So, and you can check out these all options. I'm not going in deep. I'm just clicking on add service. So my first project VPC1 is publishing a service. Now let's go to, if you go inside this service, we have some options. Let's see what that options are. And we have this option like service attachment, what I'm talking about. So basically it has created a service attachment. So this is our producer VPC, and it is as there's a managed service. So that is my internal load balancer, which is hosting a web page behind it with the help of instance group. And we have created a service attachment which is just forwarded traffic to our managed service. Now we have to create a endpoint in our consumer VPC. So let's go to my second project and do that. So here is my second project. Let's go to private service connect in this, and here we have the option to connect endpoint. So let's click on connect endpoint, and for that endpoint name these are three options. We have to use publish service, and after that I will choose my endpoint. This is my service attachment. I will provide that here. After that we can give endpoint any name, so we can say web LB. After that we have to choose in which project we want to create this. So let's go with second project VPC2. In this we have to create a, like, choose the subnet, which subnet, in which subnet we want to use. Let's go with this subnet, subnet 1. You can choose any subnet. After that we have to choose a IP address. If you don't have a IP address, you just click on create. I have IP address already there, so I will choose 4.0. 4.2, basically this is the range from which this IP address is being used. After that you have the option of enable global access. If you don't enable global access, only like VMs which are in northeast one can reach out to this service. So let's don't enable as of now. I will show you what will happen, and then we will enable later on. Just click on add endpoints. So we are just creating a endpoint. So basically we have done this. Submit attachment is done, endpoint is done. Now let's create a VM in consumer VPC and see whether we can able to reach this managed service or not. So I created two VMs in my second project VPC2. So this is the range for this. So if you go to like my VPCs 2, 4.0, 9.0, these are the uh, two subnets which I've used. So one is Asia Northeast one, in which our private service connect is there, and one is in Asia South one, where it is not enabled. So global access is not enabled. So basically let's go and copy this IP 4.0, and if it send traffic to this IP from our first project which is in Northeast, and if we do curl, we can see we are getting a response like this is VM1 first project and this is VM2 first project. So let's copy this and try it the same with our second project, second VM also, which is in Asia South one, in which so we can see we are not able to reach it. So if you want to reach this, you just come here and go inside this your endpoint and click on edit and just enable global access. Once you enable global access, what will happen? It will automatically allow connections to be from like all the VPC, all the regions. So it is completed. Now let's go back and try again from our. So we can see we got the response now. 4.0 we can see it is working fine. Previously it is not. It is like not giving any response. So this is the first part of the video which we have done. In this we have created this all that connection. So basically this is done. These two connection has been created between we have an endpoint and producer VPC. Now we have to use this common services VPC, we can say, which we will create a consumer VPC. I have already have all the VPC. Now we will use network connectivity center hub. So we will add this common services VPC as a spoke, and then we'll add consumer VPC as a spoke, and then we will see we from this VPC we are able to reach our producer VPC load balancer managed service. So let's go. So in my first project I will click on create hub. Let's give a name. So let's give a full mesh. After that I will choose a mesh topology. Here the option private service connect connection propagation. So we will make it on and click on next. Let's click on create only directly. So we are basically now creating a hub now. So our hub has been created. We can see PSC is enabled. And so basically in our first project, if we go, we have a private service connect which is running as which is like publishing services. So and in VPC 1. So basically and in VPC in our second project, there is a VPC 2 which is consuming the services. So we will add that consumer VPC as a VPC spoke first. So let's go. I'm in my second project. I will click on spokes. I will click on add spokes. So it is my another project. I will provide the project ID. After that I have to provide the name. This is my hub name. After that spoke name will be this my second project VPC2, and I have to choose the VPC. So this is my VPC second project VPC2. Don't need to use any filter as of now. I will show you later on this part, and I will click on create. So as I have not added this project as an auto accepted list in my NCC hub, so I have to manually accept this specific spoke. So it has been created. So let's go to our first project and go to spokes. We can see go to details and let's click on accept. So we can see that our like private service connect in consumer one, it is using this IP address, and we are also sharing this IP range with our NCC hub. So if we go to our NCC hub now, let's hit edit first. So if we go to our routes now, and if we click on any region, we can see we have three routes: 4.0, 6.0, 9.0. So basically 4.0 is basically this IP address 4.2. So if we add a new spoke now, so we can reach out to this is 4.2. So let's do that also. So in my first project I have some three VPC. So let's go to this VPC first project VPC 2, and let's see what are the subnets here. So I have two subnets here. So first of all I will create a VM in this VPC so that we can see as of now we don't have any connectivity. After that I will add this specific VPC as I spoke in my hub. So I have created a VM here. This is my VM in VPC2 first project, and this is my IP, and this IP is coming from this range. This is my first project VPC2. I am inside this VM. Now let's try to curl it. Our We can see there is no response coming. So let's add this VPC in our hub. So let's go back and go to spokes. We will click on add spoke. In the same project I will choose full mesh topology. Next step, I have to provide the VPC name. So this is my VPC name, first project VPC2, and let's click on add. And after that, this is my first project VPC2. Click on done, click on create. So it has been added to my hub, that is spoke. So we can see we have now two spokes there. And let's go to routes, and we can see now we have five routes, like three routes coming from here and two are coming from here. So let's go to my VM back and now try to do curl once again. We can see we are getting a response now. So basically now this our basic example has been successfully completed, which I'm going want to show you. So there's a producer VPC, that is my VPC project one, which is hosting a web application. service VPC is consuming that, and after that we added to the hub that VPC as a spoke, and then we add a new VPC which is also as a spoke in our hub. After that, this VPC is able to use these endpoints. So basically we don't have to create now multiple connections from this VPC. Basically only create a common VPC, create all the connections there, and just add consumer VPC as a spoke and that common services VPC as a spoke, and they can use all these things. But let's see one more thing in the excluded one. Suppose you don't want to share your endpoints with your consumer VPC or your NCC hub, we can do that also. So let's do that. So let's go to my network connectivity center only, and let's once refresh. This is my second project. I will remove this. I will re-add this. So first of all, I will remove this. So it has been removed. Now let's add again the same spoke in other project. So let's go to next step. So copy this my VPC name. I will add that. After that, in that associate VPC, I will select VPC network 2, but this time I am going to use filters and I'm going to exclude my private service connect range, that is 4.0. As you remember, this is my 4.2. So I'm just removing this range. I don't want to share this range with my hub. I will click here, click on done, and click on create. So that spoke has been like created. Let's allow that, accept that in my hub. So let's go to spokes, click on go details. We can see it is already excluding this range. We are okay with that. I will accept that. So we can see like it has been done. So let's go back and see the routes, what are the routes we are getting. And if we click on any region, so we can see now 4.0 is not here. So if I try again, we can see we are getting no response. But from my other VNs which are in that space, same VPC, from that I can able to reach it, because that is being in the same VPC, it is not being like advertised. So we can see I'm able to reach, but from this consumer another VPC which is added as spoke, I'm not able to reach. I hope it is clear to you. So like this you can add multiple endpoints. So what will happen if in future I will add one more endpoint, and it will automatically be added into the hub. I don't have to create any connection, all that. I will show you how what I'm talking about here. Basically, if I click on connect endpoints, so create a new endpoint, it will automatically be available in our hub. So let's try that. So target service, I have to copy this name again, same target service, and let's give it my LB2 network is VPC2. And but this time we will not use 4.0 because we have already excluded it, but this time we are going to use 6.0. Let's click on that, and IP address 6.2, and it has already created. You can use if you want to create. I will enable global access here also and click on add endpoint. So basically I've created another endpoint with the same your producer, but this will in using a different IP address because it is in different subnet, and then this subnet we have excluded, and this is we have allowed 6.2. So if I try to use 6.2 now, and if I go to my this VM where I'm not able to get a connection, like it is getting failed, and if I go here and just change to 6.2, we can see I'm getting a response. So as soon as you add a new endpoint, and that if that subnet is not excluded, you will able to reach it. So that's the beauty of this. And questions, any issues or any suggestions, just comment it down. I will put my email ID also. So if you want to connect, we can connect, and I will if you face any issue, I will try to help you if possible at my end. Thank you very much for seeing. I hope you like this video.